Episode 5, entitled When Hot Men Kill. What? That's not the name of the episode? Well, it should be. Welcome to Voice of the Fat Mantis and my review of House of the Dragon, Episode 5. The actual title escapes me, but it's not important. We're going to go into it because a lot of major, crazy, insane things happen, including a Targaryen wedding, which actually was underwhelming for me. I would think that a show with this budget and this kind of situation would have a bigger spectacle. Now, I believe the story started off with a wedding party, and that the wedding just kind of had to happen because so much drama was going around into it. And we're going to get into all the details, but first I got to beg you to like, share, and subscribe to Voice of the Fat Mantis. We love you, and me and my Charlie Brand producer are going to keep producing good content as long as you help us out here. Now getting into it. This thing, once again, has to do with the fate of children. What are we going to do about Rhaenyera Targaryen? She is going to be a female queen whose rise to power will start a war, as Otto Hightower's famous last words to his daughter before he rides off into the sunset. Why do I have a feeling that's not the last we'll ever see of that character? Not only will start war, but she needs a strong person to betroth to protect the realm when the rebels start moving around. They decide to marry her off to her cousin, her first cousin, because why not? They're Targaryens, right? They do that kind of gross stuff. And so he shows up, the king. High Tide is the name of the castle, and that is where Lord Corlys lives. Although Paddy Considine is doing a great job as the king, King Viserys is such an insufferable it is just hard to take him seriously or to root for him. He shows up there. Obviously, the king of the realm needs to be greeted with an entourage of beautiful women and knights and warriors and people there, and there is nobody but like one or two people there to greet them. They literally walk in the middle of the soon-to-be betrothed son of Corlys and his buddy, more on who he is later, sparring, and it's almost like walking into a gym. You're a king expecting an entourage to greet you, and you get this, and they pass it off. They're like, yeah, he's tired from all his travels. He couldn't come down to greet you. Well, F you, I'm the king. Then you're not getting my daughter. He's literally about to give this ingrateful son of a the greatest gift in the world, which is a daughter who's going to inherit everything. So you might as well come and kiss my ass. But he puts up with this anyway. This guy betrayed you. He sold you out to your brother. Corlys, he's a great character, but not a good friend to the king. Then there's a conversation about the last name. This is very reflexive of what happened to the crown. Rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth II. When she married her husband, Philip, Parliament took legal action against him, preventing any children he was going to have from bearing his last name, Mountbatten. Instead, they didn't want the name of the house to switch, who ruled the lands. Has to be House Windsor. And this exact same thing is happening right now. The custom is that the father's name goes down to the kids, as it is ours still today. I have a feeling that politically, this is going to come back to haunt the utter hell out of them. The next important plot beat of this story is straight out of like a Nancy Drew novel. I didn't like how it unfolded, and it was like pretty stupid. So Alicent, being a interloper and sticking her nose where it doesn't belong, she calls Sir Criston to her chamber, and she says, I know that the princess has been immoral, and doesn't state what she's talking. It's all vagaries, and he just suddenly, this deep dark secret that could get him killed and could get his beloved woman taken off the throne, all sorts of horrible things could happen, and he immediately confesses like a moron. It's not the best writing. It's not a very sophisticated thing. They just wanted Alicent to have resentment toward her best friend and to know what's really going on. I feel like there should have been a more sophisticated way that she was able to acquire that information, but whatever. It's an oldie and a goodie, I guess. He ends up having a conversation with the princess. He wants to run away with her. He's stupid enough to think the richest woman on the planet is willing to go live a poor man's life just because she got it on with this fool. She says, I'm going to marry my cousin. It's all good because he is actually on the low. For those of you who don't know what on the low is, that means secretly gay. She's like, he's going to do his thing. I'm going to do my thing. We're going to have kids, but you're going to be my side piece from now until eternity. And somehow this dude doesn't like this. Yo, bro, you don't have to pay for bills or check out for things. Any child that you might produce with her is going to be accredited to the other guy, and they're going to be raised like princes and princesses. Yeah, you're the ultimate cuckering of somebody. I don't know. What do you call somebody who cucks someone else? Anyway, the point is, he should be living the dream. I think he's living every male's dream. But instead, he's moody. This guy is moody. He's what the fictional characters in a Backstreet Boys song are going through. Hypersensitive, girly men who are too handsome for their own good and just feel endless passion. It's really gross. It's really just a gross situation. Finally, we get to a wedding party. So I thought this was an engagement party. I assume it's not the actual wedding itself. It was formal, but not that formal. They're in a drinking hall. This is old school Beowulf style. Of course, the king of the narrow sea should show up just to disrupt everyone's calm and collective. Matt Smith walks right in there. Viserys being a good brother, a good guy. Doesn't even question his brother. Doesn't fight with his brother. He just is like, get him a seat. That's some top-notch stuff for Sarah's. I know I despise you, but you're a good guy. He's going to regret it. You're going to regret it, bro. Cousin, the man she's going to be married, Lord Corlys' son, is on the low. His sparring partner from earlier is his lover, and his lover goes to taunt Sir Criston Cole. He's taunting him and taunting him and taunting him. And what should happen later on the dance floor when Daemon decides to be very inappropriate with his niece? That is so gross. She's like anyway, being inappropriate with her, and Viserys is about to snap, but you're a beta male, so what are you going to do about it, bro? Then suddenly some commotion breaks out, and when it finally comes by the way, worst security ever. Like, you have the heir dancing in a pile of people. You should have had at least 15 guards should be able to get to her in 2 seconds. 2 seconds. And what should happen? It's Sir Criston Cole beating the crap out of the cousin's lover. His face is just a pile of mush. And it's because he can't lash out at the man who's marrying Rhaenyra, so he does the next best thing. Like, he's psychotic. And as I've seen on Twitter, a lot of girls are saying Criston Cole is no longer hot. That's right. You lost your hot factor when you act like a psycho. So there's that. He then goes out to the garden where he's going to commit suicide, and Alicent stops him. Now, I'm wondering where this is going. Obviously, there should be some sort of arrest or something undergoing, but it doesn't. None of that actually ensues. All that happens is we don't know what's going to happen, but I can't imagine there's no ramifications for doing what he did. But it seemed like they didn't care. Instead, they do an emergency wedding so that there can be no more objectors and foolishness, and they don't even clean up the blood of the dead man. They're literally in this parlor. They emptied out all the lords, and a rat runs over, and it starts licking the blood. It's drinking the blood while a wedding ceremony is going on. And it shows a level of depravity that this is the realm. This is a metaphoric institute of the realm. It's rotting, disgusting corpse, and rats are picking at it. Very strong, very powerful. I really like that part. I think probably the last 15 minutes of the episode was the best of it. But I gotta say something that I think was not masterclass, not done well. Last week was not slow, but it didn't have action or war or intrigue. It was romping around with different sex partners, and it was a very different episode of the Game of Thrones franchise. It was like something we've never seen before. And so this one was also slow. There wasn't a lot of conniving. There's just subpar conniving. And to be honest, it just kind of baffles me that they didn't give us, if you have a slow episode one week, you got to give us something crazy the next. And what happened is they didn't earn the death of this character. His name happens to be Joffrey. They didn't earn the death. You know why? We've never seen him before. He was literally introduced in this episode just to die. And honestly, you got to work hard and spend a lot of time with that character before people feel emotional enough to be upset when somebody's murdered at the end of an episode. And they spent no time with this guy. He might as well have been an extra. And at that point, we didn't feel it. Now, this is a flaw of the show immensely. Both the man she's marrying, her first cousin, can't even remember his name, and his lover should have been introduced way earlier in the show, and they should have been a known entity before this episode happens. There's a certain laziness happening. I didn't love this episode, and I don't like what's coming next. So this apparently is the last episode of Missy Alcock and the girl who plays Alicent. I'm sorry, your name escapes me. And quite frankly, I love them both. They are just so amazing. And this could also have to do with this also sloppy work that I talked about before. What it is when you age up a character, you actually have to go through the trouble of reintroducing them. Any emotional impact we had from a child actor to an adult gets erased. And so perfect example of this is in the Star Wars prequels. We met a young Anakin, and then when they age him up, which we wanted him to be aged up, we have to reintroduce ourselves to him. He's a completely new character. And therefore, any goodwill you've already achieved is now erased. And this is really sloppy work. People are not going to tune into the next episode looking at this 40-year-old woman and saying, this is Rhaenyera. Honestly, they should have kept those same actresses and just aged them up with makeup and stuff like that. It's not good. We're going to miss Missy Alcock, and there's going to be a contingent of people who walk away from the show because Rhaenyera, played by Missy Alcock, was the feminist hero that they've always wanted. And now you've taken that away from us. I don't know what you're doing, House of the Dragon. I don't know, but I don't like it. And so I'm already going in with bad will into the next episode. So it better be a damn good episode if you're going to win us over. This woman better be charisma 19 or higher, or we're not buying it. And so I've seen reels and other things she's done, and well, let me tell you, if she has charisma, she certainly hasn't shown it in any professional manner. So ultimately, Missy Alcock, we are going to miss you so much. A lot of intrigue is happening. I understand that there's going to be over a decade jump between these episodes, which is also a weird narrative choice. I know they're trying to make it different from Game of Thrones, but like, come on, guys, what's going on? But those are my thoughts. The real question is, what are yours? Please let me know down in the comments. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to Voice of the Fat Mantis for more reviews, interviews, shenanigans, analysis, breakdowns, Game of Thrones, and House of the Dragon information. You need me as much as I need you. And until next time, ciao for now.